at part 2 now of the Suburban video where we redo the interior, all the upholstery. So if you haven't seen part 1, go back to part 1, go ahead and watch that one. I know these are long videos, but bear with this. It's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. And this will be part 2, so enjoy. Alright, well, we need to start thinking about mating our new cushion to our valance, but first we need to double check the size of this. Alright, here we go. Here's the old one. Remember how we oversized it? Because we were expecting it to shrink a bit? Holy smokes, that is just about perfect. And I cut it like an inch too wide originally. And now we are dead on the money. I was not expecting that. Okay. So I want to take this large section here and put it on the outside, the door side of the cushion. So that would be over here. Like that. Man, I can't believe how close that is. So all I really need to do is just round off these corners here and down there, and we're ready to sew. Alright, I also wanted to check the coverage on the old cushion here, just to compare. What's kind of neat is that since GM used a different color foam on the valance, it actually stained the foam red, so you can see exactly where the two pieces went together. It's kind of cool. Remember, you're going to have a 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around. That should be pretty good. I'll go with that. Okay, let's see here. So here's the front, here's the back. This is my back valance. I'm going to sew this one on first. So we're going to flip that over like such. I'm going to go ahead and line it up the best I can, because I am actually going to start sewing not in the corner, but a few inches off. My first cushion I started in the corner, and I used this homemade welting to go in between the velour, standard velour, and the regal velour. But the styrofoam core didn't bend real well when I cut it. So I want to make sure I get this cut far enough away from this corner so that I can go straight with it. So I'm actually going to start a few inches away from the corner, and then we'll stitch it all together when we're done. It barely fits under the walking feet of the Sailrite machine. I've got 3/4 inches of foam, plus this welting, plus the fabric on top and the fabric on bottom. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4 layers of fabric and 3/4 inches of foam. So let's see how we do here. Should I back it up first? Alright. And forward. Forward. I'm keeping my fingers on that welting so I can make sure it stays in the track here. I'm using these little clips also to help hold my piece together. Make sure you put your welting in the correct direction. Bingo. All right. It's eating it up. Because I need to attach the other piece to it. But let's open this up and have a little peek. Look at that, guys. You can see I left a little bit opening down here so I can play around with my curve later on. Okay. That's how it's going. Alright. Next piece. Alright, so from here, I'm just going to try to eyeball how these two pieces go together. We'll make the corner with the welting best we can. Okay. Let's clip this. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to hand sew this. I'll pick the foot up and try to turn this thing a little. Foot down, walk it one, foot up, turn it around. Make sure that the two pieces of valance are tight. Let's walk it another one. I could probably do another one. I think I might have stabbed the foam core on that one. Maybe not. We'll see. Just doing a little bit of a locking stitch there. This is going to be the outside corner where everybody gets in and out of the vehicle, so I'm just about to lock that stitch, keep it from pulling through, in case it breaks. Alright, so I'm approaching the corner here, and I need to put these two pieces of welting together. So I'm kind of approximating how they're going to fit. And I'm going to overlap the fabric so that you can't see the styrofoam underneath, the plastic. And let's see here, we're going to have to figure out how these two pieces of foam go together here, just like we did on the other side. To me, it looks like we might have too much foam. I had the same problem on my first cushion. I'm not sure why that is. So I'm going to mark this. I'm going to cut out a couple inches of foam here. Put you in the corner. Oh, no, maybe here. So it looks like it's got to be cut there. Wow. That's more than a couple inches. Isn't that crazy how that works out? So we're going to remove that much material. I'm going to cut around this little stuff here because that doesn't really matter. I don't want to mess with the stitches. Okay, so remove that much of the fabric and foam. And let's see if these pieces will approximate themselves better now. Yeah, that looks better in this corner. Let's see, but I gotta keep playing with this welting over here. What I'm gonna do, this stuff here is called basting tape, and it's like two-sided sticky tape. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut off a small piece. And I am going to place this inside my welting on either side, and then we'll peel off the paper, leaving the stickiness on top and on bottom. And then we'll stick this to the beginning of the welting. And that'll hold things together until I can get around it with a sewing machine. Yeah. You guys see that? And it's kind of dark in here. There we go. That looks pretty good. I'm going to put a little kink in the plastic over here on the side, help me get around the corner better. Well, not really hand sewing. I'm still using the machine, but we're going to walk it around by hand. It's locked into place. All right, moment of truth. Oh, look, we've got a hole. So we're going to try to stitch this a little tighter right through there. That's no good. Everything else looks pretty good. All right, let's fix the hole. Let's see here. What I might do is flip it upside down this time. Maybe I can see better. See what's going on with this other piece of fabric. Okay, so we got our little hole closed up. Let's see how this thing is fitting. I still haven't stitched these back corners. Those will kind of give an idea of what we're looking at. Not too shabby. It needs to be tightened down quite a bit, but that's looking pretty good. But I think right now I need to take a margarita break or something, because look at this storm cloud from Barry rolling in. We're fixing to get some rain, despite what the weather guys say. So stay tuned. Alright, so we got the cover off the backrest on the 60% seat cushion. And this is a little bit more complicated than the bottom one here. For one thing, it's got a zipper going down the inside next to the other cushion, away from the door panel. And the front part of the seat cushion here was hog-ringed to the frame, and then the two pieces were hog-ringed together. So that means we're going to have to do a couple more different cords to make sure we can hog-ring everything back together. Another option, since we have the zipper thing going on down here, it'd require a little re-engineering, so I don't know if I want to do this or not, but we could run the zipper from the top here all the way down the side underneath here, and then terminate the zipper on the far end. So that'd require about a 3.5 foot zipper. But that's a possibility as well. I'm not sure which way I'm going to go with this quite yet. So I'm just going to study it for a little bit, then we'll start cutting it apart. Alright, so here's the front part of the cushion sewn together. Like I said, I put these pleats about 2 1/4 inches apart. Doubled up on my foam. You guys can see it there. There's 2 pieces of 1/4 inch foam sewed together. I think I'm going to go ahead and buy some 1/2 inch foam because I've got a lot of cushions to make and it'll be easier to do it that way. I use like a little contrast band across the top, just like the original had. So this should be a pretty good match for the original. So now I just need to cut out the sides and do the back. Alright, so the other pieces are cut out now. Goes kind of like that. And I'm going to try to improve upon this zipper design. From the factory they just sewed it together like this piece here and then cut the hole and sewed the zipper in. But I'm going to try to put an edge on here, kind of like what you have on a jacket or something, so it looks a little bit more nice. And so this piece will have to be cut out a little larger than what it is now because I'm going to take a little bit more out of the center here. So let's figure out how we're going to do that. Okay, back here on the cutting table, which is an old dining room table. And we'll go ahead and trace out this one side panel. We want to give it a 1/2 inch clearance, a 1/2 inch seam all the way around. Well, not all the way around, not down here. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and take the zipper out. Okay, with that zipper removed, I'm just going to go ahead and cut this a little higher up. Alright, and this is where I'm going to put my zipper. So now, I'm going to take the zipper, so we can line up the ends here. I'll go ahead and sew. Okay, so anyway, now I've got this zipper sewn in. It's got a couple of wrinkles here on top because we're pushing all the material together. Hopefully that, some of these things will work themselves out. And I'll be able to hide a couple of them underneath this bumper that goes down, that screws to the side of the seat. When you lay the seat down, there's a big rubber bumper that fits here as well. So hoping to hide that edge there. But now I can do a little bit more trimming if any is needed. I'll Put the original, put it down on top of it. We'll approximate the edges now where the zipper is, and we'll kind of look around and kind of see. And yeah, might be able to do a little trimming here. Let me see if maybe I'll push it down some a little bit more. Okay, that's not too bad. Yeah, it's just a little thick right through here. So, sorry, bumping the camera. Back the camera up a little bit. So we're going to just do a little bit of trimming right there, and this is ready to glue some foam to it. Instead of using my velour for the back of the seat, I bought some extra carpet from Auto Custom Carpets, ACC. They're the guys that did my main carpet kit in dark charcoal. And so I bought an extra 2 yards of this carpet from them. It was a little expensive because I was afraid that the stock length, which was 54 inches or so, wasn't going to be wide enough to cover both back seats. So I ordered 2 yards so I'd have 72 inches to deal with. And that got a little pricey. So I paid $100 for 2 yards of carpet. But, you know, it is what it is. Maybe I can use the leftover carpet to make floor mats or something. But yeah, now we're going to cut this out. All right, well, now I've got to figure out how to sew this carpet backing to these side panels. These get sewn on first before the front panel does. And I'm glad I kept the originals. And I'm glad I marked it in several locations around the seams, so I can figure out how these things go back together. So I can just line up the marks here. And there is supposed to be a sharp angle right here, which I don't really have on my piece. So I'm going to transfer this over and mark it. Yeah. Out. And let's see how this looks. Very nice. I gotta tie this top part off a little bit here, but that looks good. There's one side. All right, so there is our back and sides sewn together. So now we have to put the front part on. And that is over here. But we can't just sew these two sides together like that, because we need to have some welting in the middle to give it a little bit of separation between the two fabrics. Here's my welting. Okay, let's see here. I've got a couple of joints here. Probably want to hide these down low. Something like that. Okay, so we're going to sew all this together as one unit. Alright, so got my welting. Make sure you flip it the right side. Insert it between the 2 layers. And I'm going to clip them together. Help hold things in place. These clips are kind of borderline, they're kind of small. And that 1/2-inch padding is thick. And I'm going to start on this top part, probably in this corner here. Well, probably short of the corner, maybe at the top seam here, and just go all the way around, and then we'll come back and we'll sew that last little bit. And I'm always feeling where that welting is, making sure it's in the right spot. Adjusting the fabric. Time. A little bit at a time, all the way around. Close to this first curve. Alright, let's see if we can wiggle some stuff around here. Let's see what we got now. Carpet makes it pretty tough to flip in and out. Let's do it. Doable. Oh crap. There's my zipper. I'm gonna have to reattach that somehow. Wow, come on. There we go. All right, guys. What do you think? So you can see the welting that I just put in there. It goes all the way around. I think it's a nice little touch. That's pretty cool. Very cool, actually. I like it. One of the last things I need to do before I put this thing on the frame is to sew this wire into the bottom of this fabric so I can hog ring it to the frame. I'm clipping out some of this extra foam because it is awfully fat with all that foam in there. So just not removing the whole thing, just a little bit, just so I can get the hog rings around that wire a little easier. on the back side of this seat cover, I found some old scrapped vinyl, and I sewed it onto the bottom here, so that when this thing is installed, I can stretch this thing around and hog ring it to the front part to close the gap. So now we need to install this thing. Okay, let's see. This. Have a little peek there. Alright, so anyway, 1, 2, there's 3 areas where this thing is hog ringed to the frame. 1, 2, 3. And this thing here should fold over it. And hopefully I can close the gap. Oh, it's gonna be tight. It's gonna be close. I think it's gonna go. I think it's gonna go. Alright, let's see here. Break through the fabric here first. There's one. Try to stay out of that foam. Here we go. 2. Get on the back side of the wire, but not so much in the foam. This one's going to be stubborn. Alright, come on. Ouch. I got started, so I can get it more tight. There we go. That's not going anywhere. And these little wings get tucked up underneath. There we go. Let's do that a couple more times and you're set. All right, well there is the seat cushion. I said you guys can bolt it in yourselves. That's it there. This might need a little bit more tinkering with. Get up more nice. There we go. Voila. Nice. And of course, then when you fold the seat down, carpeting on the back. All right, so I am installing the seat into the Suburban. And one of the things I like to do is use a small screwdriver to find the holes through the carpet for, there we go, for my bolts, okay? And then once I find them, kind of pushing things around here, making sure it's nice and tight. And once I find the holes, then I'll take an old soldering iron and I'll burn away the carpet so the bolts will go in there easily. You can kind of see where the hole is. You can just kind of burn away the extra carpet there. Woo! Adios. And then your bolt will slide in there. Tighten her up. Well, a little bit for now. I'm gonna do them all before I get them too tight. There we go.
well, now that the back seats are done, it's time to turn my attention to the fronts. Ew. Alright. Macy's wiped out. No more part 2. So part 2 is done. Thanks for watching. Part 3 coming up, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And stay tuned.